Welcome to Event Radio, covering local drag racing, stock car racing, motorcycles, go-karts. If it's got wheels and you can race it, you'll hear about it here. Event Radio is motorsports radio on steroids. Now, let's join your hosts, Spivvy Williams and Terrible T Guy.
All right, guys, welcome to the next edition of Event Radio. This is going to be a really special show, and it's going to be a fun show for me. I get to hang out at their beautiful home of two of my dearest friends that have been friends with me for, ever since I was a kid. And what is so cool, my guest, whatever race-wise that he hasn't won has not been worth winning. I will say that. He has done so many things. He's worn so many hats. This show is primarily something that all race car guys experience, and it's how hard it is to find something exciting after you park the race car. Because when you do that, I mean, it's really a letdown because you can't find things that you get the same bang for your buck, or that you get the same excitement, that you get the same adrenaline rush. You can't get anything like that you can get from a racing scenario. My guest, to give you a little history, many-time motorcycle champion, desert racer. He has won championships in sportsman stock cars. He has won championships in late model stock cars. He has won championships in legend cars. Anything that my buddy here tries, he excels. He doesn't just also ran. He excels and always has, as long as I've known him, and I've known him probably since I was 12, 13, 14 years old. His dad used to haul us to races, such a great gentleman that I absolutely loved, and he was so good to me growing up. And my guest on this show, I sort of grew up with a little bit, but I also kept up with him throughout his career that he has done. And we're going to get the pleasure of talking to him and his beautiful little wife that he has drug her through all this stuff with him, and she's hung in there, and she is one lovely lady, I'm telling you. But we're going to talk about what it's like sort of after the steering wheel and how many adventures you pursue to maybe get that bang back, because my buddy has done it. Whether it be land, sea, air, you name it, he has done it. And he has not only, I think, has commercial rating pilot's license. He, of course, raced the motorcycles when he did this, but I'm sure he's got a Harley, and they ride everywhere on that thing. He with his grandkids, has taken over razor playing, and I don't mean to shave with. I mean the razors to get out here in the woods and run through the mud and that kind of stuff. He has taken a bus and gone all over this United States and hauled Chris everywhere and stayed in some of the most beautiful places this country has to offer. He has been a huge, big-time farmer that grew, I won't say, I want to say grew some illegal stuff, but I won't say that because I know he didn't. But no, he's been a huge farmer. He operates and owned a huge, successful auto repair business that he's turned over to number one son, and still going strong, still probably the best place to get your car fixed in the world in Bowling Green, Kentucky. And now I've kidded him and called him Gilligan, because after the land and the air stuff, he has now taken over the ocean. He has a yacht that they go out and cruise and all that stuff, and I lovingly call him Gilligan. But in a few minutes, we're going to take a little word from our sponsors, and we're going to introduce you up close and personal to Mr. Jerry and Chris Chaffin, my good friends. You're on Event Radio. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
On the track or on the street, the number one brand in performance is Holley. Have you heard about the Ultra Street Avengers, Ultra Double Pumpers, Ultra HP, and Ultra Dominator carburetors? They're ultra light, ultra cool, and ultra fast. Holley carbs are the most powerful carbs money can buy with no further modifications. Holley, winning performance for over 100 years.
All right, guys, we are back with my good buddy, Mr. Jerry Chafton. What's going on, bud?
Hey, just hanging out and just enjoying life.
Well, I tell you what, it's beautiful out here. I noticed you said that you did some yard work. I don't see that the yard needs any work.
Well, you can't tell I did anything, what you're trying to say.
No, that's not it. That's not it. Boy, you anything race-wise, you have done it all. And you've excelled in it all. It's not just an also-ran deal. I mean, buddy, you've come to you're like the cream. You come to the top of anything you try. How do you do that?
Well, I appreciate that, Spivvy. It's just a desire for the adrenaline. I think it's always something out there that needs to be conquered. And whether it be a set of handlebars or a steering wheel,
I know,
or an airplane yoke or whatever, it needs to be conquered. So you just go after it, and that's kind of the attitude that I've taken over the years, and go from one thing to another, looking for that bigger thrill, And
yeah. Okay. I could. Has Chris taught you how to cook?
Well, yeah, a little bit.
Really?
Barely.
I mean, your latest venture being a million miles out in the ocean, I was wanting to make sure you at least knew how to fry fish.
We get her done.
Okay, all right. You started, or I guess the first time that I met you racing anything was bikes. Maybe.
Well, I did go-karts way back when we were kids. You may not.
I don't remember.
You was there, but
I know that was later. T and I raced go-karts too.
But this was back in the Charlie Garvin day.
Well, mine was too.
Yeah, he had a little go-kart track out there at the stock car track. You remember
we did that? We raced that.
Well, I did that too. Got a little trophy in there.
I missed that. Yeah, well, I got a couple of them. Yeah. I couldn't get the grocery to take any of those. So I tried to give them to them. They wouldn't do it. But the motorcycles I remember.
Yeah.
Of course, you had been in California before that, I think.
Mm-hmm. That's where I met Christine, was in California.
So where'd you brought your own California girl?
Oh, yeah.
That's what the Beach Boys wrote the song about.
That's right.
She's
a California girl.
She's a keeper, trust me. She's a sweet lady. And besides, if she can live with you all these years, with everything you put this lady through, she's got to be the best there is.
No doubt.
You were a big farmer there, is that right?
Yeah, that was an era after the third or fourth major motorcycle crash, and that's the one that kind of put me down. Messed up my leg really bad, and I just felt like I needed to get away from that before I killed myself. And I don't know, for some reason, I'd bought a farm out of Richardsville just to ride the motorcycle on.
Oh, I know.
We had 100 acres out there just to practice cross-country racing on. And turned out to be kind of fun, have a few cattle and raise a little tobacco, and the next thing you know, I buy a couple of 100 acres, and then but then I quit the riding because my leg was so bad, and then just farmed. I farmed too much. I really farmed too much.
Well, I don't
grew too big, but I just was always a desire there to go race something, but didn't have time. I was working 7 days a week.
See, I could never be a farmer. I'd fall in love with all the cows. I'm a big animal freak, and I could never do anything with them. They'd all have a home.
We still had the service station at the time. So between the service station and running the farms, and I had 3 farms, and it was just more than I could do, and I certainly didn't have time to race.
So you decide to get rid of the farms and you buy a twin-engine airplane.
Yeah, we flew. During that time, we flew airplanes somewhat while we farmed, because we went to a lot of national farm shows and machinery shows and all kinds of things out in the Midwest. We used the airplane for that,
But you flew a lot of people around too, didn't you?
Yeah, I did that too. Yeah, I had a little on the side business.
It ain't like what you do you don't make money at, my friend. I don't. Please, guys, if you're listening, don't think that this guy is not pretty smooth when it comes to making a dollar, because he knows how to do it.
Yeah, we did some of that, sure did, and then just one thing led to another. I think we had a total of, over the years, four different airplanes, I believe it was. Went out west a couple times, had a lot of fun with it. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Then
you've done a show or two with Ron Arnold, I think.
Yeah. We've done it with Ron.
We hauled Ron and Melanie around, went to some places, went to Disney World, and I don't know, out in Las Vegas.
I've been wanting to haul him around now at my age for protection.
Right. Yeah, he make a good one.
Yeah, he's a good one. He's a bad boy in that karate stuff,
and
he would be a good protector for me.
Well, him and I had the same teacher, and believe me, Ken Eubanks was the best.
Oh, yeah,
and
no doubt about
now
it.
Ron's the best.
Yeah, he is. He really is. Well, we've had fun, and I've had fun doing stuff with Ron. He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
And I think probably you were his protege. Well, you really were. He wanted to follow in your footsteps because he knew you did everything good. And I'm not blowing your balloon here. I mean, you can't hide the facts. And I don't know of a thing that you have ever attempted that you didn't excel in. I don't know of it.
Well, I probably failed at a few things. I just don't tell people about those.
Well, you don't. No, none of us tell about those.
Right.
Know. But we'll get Chris in a minute. She'll tell.
Yeah, she'll tell.
She'll tell. But you ran the Mint 400 in Vegas.
Did that,
and you crashed
bad,
and rode that thing with your arm broke for how far?
I rode it to the end of that first 200-mile lap so that Danny could take over.
With your arm broke.
With my arm broke and it almost taped to the handlebar. I had some help at the railroad tracks to get me back on the motorcycle, but I couldn't let them haul me to the finish or we would have been DQ'd. So I let him kind of get me out, start the bike, get me on it, and get my hand on the throttle so that I could at least ride it.
Did you hit your head?
No, helmets were pretty good stuff,
okay.
All
right.
And I got it to the finish line, and then that's when I went to the hospital, and Danny Young took over.
Yeah, well,
Lizard, you know that story.
Oh, yeah, Lizard's about as good as you
betcha.
He hit his head, too, because now he hang glides. So,
right.
I think all of y'all did that back then. Then you got off into the cars, and you started with like a sportsman type car.
Yeah, I did. I bought an old car from Mark Reynolds, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, an old jalopy type car, and of course a couple of races later I wiped it out. So we built a 442 Oldsmobile out of Causey's junkyard.
Yeah, I remember that.
Went over there and pulled it out, built a 406 engine there at the shop and put in it, and kicked some butt with that old car.
Oh,
had
listen,
a lot of fun.
you won a lot of stuff with that car.
A lot of fun with that old car.
And then you got just a little more serious.
Yeah, we went in. That's when we went into the NASCAR All-American Series. I bought a late model out of Alabama at shop down there. That I think it was actually, I can't remember his name now. Anyway, one of the Mike Alexander. It was an ex Mike Alexander car, and he'd won the All American Championship a couple of years in a row there, I think. So we bought his old car from B.R. Jones, Bobby Ray Jones, down in Alabama, and bought an engine up in Cincinnati to go in it. Wasn't exactly legal, but we put a good engine in. We put a good engine in.
Look here, in racing, you are not cheating until you were caught.
So we did the All-American Series, drove with some really, really good name drivers, I got to meet Bobby Allison and race with him. I got to meet Darrell Waltrip and race with him, Mark Martin, a lot of names that, mean a lot to me. They were just friendly people. They really enjoyed racing.
Aren't most racers friendly?
Well, they are. There was very, very, very few that you didn't want to take to dinner. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but of course, mainly it would be better if they bought,
right.
But, I understand that.
But yeah, that was a fun era. It really was.
Chris, let me ask you something while we got you here, dear. And I promised I wouldn't keep you long and you always do what you tell ladies. Trust me, I know. I'm educated on that subject. Has he? What's it like following him through all this stuff?
Challenging.
Okay.
I had a lot of people, including his mother, tell me, why do I let him do this? And if you have a passion for something, it's nobody's business to tell you can't do it. And I've never, ever told him no.
Has he ever made you nervous?
Well, oh, yeah. There's been times where I couldn't go. There's been times where I've seen him hit a wall, and I've waited till he got out of the car to make sure he was okay. Then I've gotten in my car and gone home. Because you can't describe my seat sitting there watching when somebody that you care so much about, they put themselves in danger. But I would never tell him he couldn't do it.
And I understand that.
The neat part about it is you do meet a lot of interesting people, and you never know who's on that track. You never know where they came from or what their story is. It could be a multimillionaire. It could be a doctor, a lawyer. It could be some guy that delivers picks up your garbage. It could be anybody. When you're on the track, everybody's the same.
Sure.
In fact, what the funny thing about it is years ago when he was really racing motorcycles and they had the old motorcycle banquets and stuff. And, we women would be at the checkpoints. We would be their pit crew.
Okay.
So, and people would come through, and especially in the enduros and stuff, and they'd be just covered in mud. And then the end of the year would come, and we would have the banquets, and everybody would clean up and show up someplace, and I wouldn't recognize any of them.
Maybe they looked a little different, huh?
Well, they didn't have helmets on. They weren't covered in mud. And so I would be sitting there, and I go, well, who's that? And Jerry says, well, you know who that is. I go, I don't know who that is. And he would tell me, well, yeah, but,
Out of everything he's done, what's your favorite?
Oh, the boat.
No, I know that, honey. I know the boat. I meant the race stuff,
I don't have a favorite. To be honest, and I've told him this, I'm not a race fan.
Okay.
I'm a Jerry Chafton fan.
There you go. Well, that's what you should be. You should be his number one cheerleader.
I was.
Okay.
I was. So I can't say that it was not my sport. It was what he wanted to do.
I see.
And it was all about his happiness.
Okay. What about yours? I know he's been a good husband. I know that. He's been a good husband, a great provider, all that crap that guys are supposed to do.
Yeah.
But has Chris ever wanted to do something that he said, let's think about that?
Probably.
Okay. All right.
But, when you get married and you have a family,
yeah.
In my world, when I grew up, your family was your responsibility.
Of course.
So
I learned at an early age the most important words in marriage. Once you say I do, you only got to know two more, and that's yes, ma'am. See, once you learn those, you're in good shape no matter what.
I don't think that wasn't our...
He didn't learn those, is what you're saying.
No, he didn't learn those
Oh,
words.
okay. Well, it took him a while.
I learned the words yes, sir.
Oh, wow. Give me a break. Yeah. Oh, boy, it's getting deep here already, guys. We hadn't even been on here long.
I have to tell you this. All I wanted to do was get married and have babies and a family. I had no aspirations to have a career.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to do.
Well, that's fine.
And when I made that decision that's what I was going to do, then it always became his and my priority to family first.
Well, and it should be. It should
be. So a lot of this was done back when our kids were young and they got drug all over, and it made them the people that they are today. It's made us the people we are today.
Don't you think, and I'm going to ask you as a mom here, don't you think the racing teaches young people a whole lot more about respect, about everything in life than some other sports?
Oh, yeah. Sportsmanship.
Exactly. Everything.
You have your guys that don't play well with others.
Okay, well, that's everything, Gail.
No matter what
right.
Sport it is. But there's something about honor and I don't even know the word to use.
Which respect is what it is. It's respect.
Respect.
I know that the race car with, and we'll talk just a little later about him venturing out with grandson and the quarter midgets and stuff like that. But race cars as a young person, and I think I can speak for Jerry on this, and if not, we'll hand him a mic back where he can. The race cars teach you instant respect because there's not a second basket, there's not a second time to swing the bat, and if you don't do it correctly, it will bite you.
Well, you're right, and it also teaches you responsibility.
Exactly.
In other words, when you're on the track, it doesn't matter what you're racing. When you're on the track, you are totally responsible for the decisions you make.
Exactly.
And it teaches these young people that their end product is a result of the decisions that they make, and they don't have anybody to blame but themselves if they make a wrong decision. So it not only teaches them responsibility and respect, but to assume that responsibility for the decisions you make.
Okay, all right, I'm cool with that. If he were going to start back tomorrow, and like I say, he's done the bikes, the cars, the legend cars, the razors even now. Which one would you feel more comfortable about him doing? Of course, he's sitting here with his knee all bandaged up. I'm not saying anything about that. But,
probably Legends Racing.
Okay, you like that better, huh?
I did.
Are they safer?
Well, all sports are dangerous.
Well, of course.
But I liked the people.
By the way, guys, he did run the Brooks and Dunn Legend Series with all of the country music guys and all that stuff, and of course he did excel there too. So
I think that Legends Racing, back when he was doing it, was more family oriented.
Okay.
In other words, there was aunts and uncles and grandma and grandpas, and everybody was involved with the team. Motorcycle racing was more about the guys.
Okay.
It was more of a guy thing.
Okay.
The stock car racing and stuff, I saw him hit the wall too many times.
Okay, well, I don't know whether that says he was good at it or bad at it, but we won't go into that. Did you like being a farmer's wife?
I did. I liked farming.
Okay. How about an airplane pilot's wife?
I did not like flying.
You didn't? I don't blame you. I don't do that. And I trust him with it, just about anything. I would
He is
ride
a
with
very
him
good
anywhere.
pilot, but there's two things when you're flying and on a boat. There's two things you have to have great respect for, and that's the weather.
Oh, yeah.
And that's one thing you have no control over.
Exactly.
So flying I did not like flying.
So you guys and guys, you guys went all over the country in a bus. I mean, a huge motorhome bus or bus, whatever. And I know that was fun to you.
It was.
But the boat is the newest venture, and that's is it Mystic Lady? Is that what it is?
Mystic
And I
Lady.
guess he named that after you, I would presume.
No, we just sat down and started writing names until we both had to agree on one.
I got you. Okay,
Couldn't
now I
have too
figured.
many syllables, he said. So.
Okay, he didn't have enough paint to paint it on the back. That's what it was, Listen, we're going to take a real quick break for our sponsors, guys. This is an absolutely fun show. We're going to have a big time with Jerry and Miss Chris, and we're going to teach you a lot. We're going to teach you a lot about. We might even save you a lot of money for you guys that haven't figured out how to feel the urge of trying to make up for the thrill is gone, I guess you would say. You're on Event Radio. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Quick Fuel Technology, the innovators in fuel systems, introduces the latest in high-temperature coating technology for select street and performance carburetors. QFT's new Black Diamond series features a unique satin black Teflon coating that provides award-winning good looks and lasting durability. The Black Diamond series is impact-resistant, repels all underhood chemicals, and reduces fuel temperature by 6% for improved performance. The Black Diamond series by Quick Fuel, the ultimate in form and function.
All right, guys, we are back from the really beautiful layout for Jerry and Miss Chris Chaffin. We're this is I hate for this show to end because this is fun. Jerry, you've moved on now. You gave up all the crazy stuff and you went with number one grandson quarter midget racing.
Yeah, Austin and his dad and I took up that particular hobby. I think he was 7 when we got him started, maybe 6, but I think 7. And we raced him Nashville, Huntsville, went to Charlotte once or twice, down in Georgia, 2 or 3 different tracks. And after the second year of it, I retired from Legends in 2006, and then he was heavily involved into the quarter midgets. He had at one time up to 3 cars running 3 classes every race, so it got pretty intense, and my Legends equipment just wasn't being used. It was sitting here in the shop, and one of the dads from the quarter midget series said, "Well, where's your race car, Jerry?" And I said, "Well, it's at home. There's only one Saturday in a week, so I spend it with Austin." And so some guy bought everything I had in Legends because we were heavily involved with quarter midgets, and then about a year or 2 years later, Austin said, "I don't think I want to do this anymore."
That's okay.
So now I have no race equipment, and I certainly am going to buy it back at this age with much as I had invested in that stuff. So I just didn't want to get back into Legends racing. So he took up bass fishing and just loves hunting and fishing and just loves it. Going into college this year.
How did you do? Did you do bass fishing?
No, I went.
I didn't figure that would be quite.
No, that's not my thing. I went with him several times and just to go
You probably
along.
drove the boat.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
in the water skiing. We've been
5 million horsepower fishing boat that runs 200.
Yeah, it's a bad bass boat.
Yeah.
So, we did that thing, but that's his gig, and he enjoys it, and I'm proud for him. I just never have been a fisherman much, except just relaxing on the back of our boat or something. But that got boring, not having the race car around, not having anything to do. So that's when I went into motorcycles again at 63.
Yeah, you ran some. What do they call it? Old guys class? It's actually
ARMA. It's a historical motorcycle racing. It's vintage bikes.
Sure.
So I went up to Concord, somewhere up there in Connecticut or somewhere up there, and bought a restored Penton.
You rode for the Penton guys.
Yeah,
too.
I rode the Penton back in the 70s. And,
yeah,
and rode with the Penton boys and all that stuff. And that's what Danny and I raced mostly was Pentons. And so I found one that had been restored, and it was exactly like the one I raced back in 73 and 74. So I brought it back down here and joined ARMA and went racing the ARMA series and won 8 straight national cross country races in a row. and then crashed.
I guess you never forget it, huh?
You never forget it. Of course, you got to remember I'm racing with 60+ guys. So
well, you know what Terry always says, and when we talk about him and his race deal, he said, the bad part about it, said the guys that spank me now spanked me back then.
Right. You're right.
They've never changed.
And it's funny. I did run across some of the very same guys that raced with back in the 70s. And,
yeah.
But
it was fun, right?
It was a lot of fun. It really was. A lot of traveling involved, but we had the bus to do it in. That made it nice. But the crash in Texas in 2010 pretty well ended that career. So there again, I'm not racing anything again, so that gets boring.
Well, but you got the razors, and you and the family have some fun there. I've seen some pictures of you burying that thing all the way up to the roll cage and mud and stuff.
And this last weekend, we were down in Alabama, and they just happened to have a really nice racetrack at this place. Imagine that. They had a really nice professional type racetrack for razors. And we just had to stick a number on it and go play. That was a lot of fun. It just kind of brings back some of the memories without all the competition and all the, the hoopla, but it was a lot of fun.
How hard has it been for you? And now you got the ocean going. I call it a yacht. I guess that's what it is. How long is that, dude?
It's 53 feet. Yeah.
No, that's a little hard to turn around a parking lot. But,
yeah, it is.
but still, have any of them filled the void completely?
No, not the void of racing. There's a certain challenge to, crossing the ocean to go to the Bahamas in a boat. There's a certain challenge to that. And
how did you learn to do that? Did the pilot stuff help you as far as the navigation and stuff? Or?
Yeah, navigation and weather. That's where that comes in. And then of course the boats. We've had boats over the years. Even when we were racing bikes and cars, we had boats that would go to the lake, and go water skiing and that sort of thing.
Yeah, but that's a little different,
that's
buddy,
a whole lot different
than leaving Florida and winding up in the Bahamas.
It's a whole lot different. So we just kind of graduated up. We first retired and went to Florida. We had a 28-foot boat, and then next thing you know, we got a 42, and you just kind of work your way up. Now we got a 53, which is big enough to.
So is the Queen Mary coming or what?
No, 53 is about all her and I can handle. You don't want to get up to where you got to have a crew and a captain and all that stuff.
Well, I was going to ask, were you the first mate and Chris be the captain, or how does that work?
No, I'm the captain. She's the admiral.
Okay, yeah. All right. No, our buddy here is the. Our little buddy, the hound dog.
She's the mate.
She is the first mate.
She's the first mate.
And she has been all over the world, I guess.
She goes everywhere with us. She's a great boat dog. She loves it.
She likes the water.
Yeah, she does.
Oh, cool.
When we put the little boat in the water to go to the beach, or to the islands, we anchor the big boat off, of course, and she'll jump right in there. And before you even get to the beach, she's out of that boat.
She's swimming
in
away.
The sand,
having fun.
Heading to the beach.
Well, I tell you what, that is so cool. Out of all of it, let's say the planes, trains, and automobiles. Let's say the plane, the bus, and the boat. What is your favorite? Chris already said hers was the boat.
The plane, the bus, the boat. It'd be the boat.
The boat.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, there's more to do. You can live on it for one thing. You get an airplane and go somewhere. You got to have a car when you get there. You got to go to a motel. Then you got to rent a car.
Yeah, but you had all that. You had all that in the bus too.
Yeah, we did in the bus too. And the bus and the boat are very similar. It's just you're on land versus water. I mean that's the only difference.
Of course, the bus you got to have some way to get around too.
The boat is much more challenging than the RV.
Oh, I bet.
Much more challenging.
Well, I'd be lost. I'd drown.
Well, you got to be a whole lot more careful for one thing. If you have a problem, you can't just pull over the side of the road and stop.
Well, you're right.
It's kind of like an airplane. You don't want a problem for sure.
Yeah, you don't just step out on the wing and fix it.
Yeah, you're right. And you've got multiple systems on a boat. You got two diesel engines, diesel generator, and you got all kinds of water makers. You got all kinds of equipment on a boat.
Well, you're a heck of a mechanic. That ought to keep you busy.
Well, I couldn't do it if I wasn't. I really could not do that if I couldn't fix this stuff myself. Just be too overwhelming financially.
All right, we got to take another quick break, guys. This is so interesting and so much fun. You're on Event Radio. We're actually going to find out what life is like after the steering wheel, but we for sure going to find out from the gentleman that knows. You're on Event Radio. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
On the track or on the street, the number one brand in performance is Holley. Have you heard about the Ultra Street Avengers, Ultra Double Pumpers, Ultra HP, and Ultra Dominator carburetors? They're ultra light, ultra cool, and ultra fast. Holley carbs are the most powerful carbs money can buy with no further modifications. Holley, winning performance for over 100 years.
All right, guys, we are back from our little visit out here. And, boy, this is so nice, so pretty out here, man, in the woods and just kick back. Huge shop, beautiful home. I don't really see what yard work he's done. He says he has, but I can't believe everything he said on the show. Chris says that you are the risk taker and she is not. Is that true?
That's always been that way. Yep. Always.
Really?
Yep.
Why?
She's just not one to take a chance on anything, but she follows me around, and then after I get her there or we do whatever it is I want to do, she said, "Well, I'm sure glad you talked me into this, or I'm really glad we're here." But
I'm glad she hadn't killed you in your sleep.
Yeah.
But, I mean, she's had a lot of opportunity to just snuff you out and be done with it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. She's been great, though. She's come along with just everything I've done, and it's a few times I've scared her pretty bad, but she'll be expected when you live with a risk taker.
Well, I guess you're right. But no risk, no reward.
That's right. Building memories is what it's all about.
Well, and that's what we were talking about. I think that I call that your own in-home movie. And there's a movie each one of us have in our mind that we replay a lot. Mm-hmm. And it's the favorite fun things that we have done growing up and are to this point in our lives, even some of the tragic things. Mm-hmm. And you replay them. And that's what life is important.
Yeah, it is. And, when technology has changed that a lot, I wish in the old days, when you and I were hanging around dirt tracks and chasing my dad around the country racing cars, I wish we'd have had the technology to film that and
to capture
it and do it as easily as you. I mean, we had 8mm cameras, but I mean to do it as easily.
And didn't know how to work
right,
them.
Right.
I understand.
But it would have been nice to have those records, and now I've been keeping a blog since 2008 or something like that. And it's really neat to put those adventures on that blog and then go back and just kind of look at
you get to talk to a lot of people that
Yeah.
lived them with you,
Yeah,
really.
right.
Yeah. You probably go to the Western Kentucky thing, don't you? The off-road thing that they do down there, banquet or something.
No, I've been talking to them every single year, and like Darrell Quarter goes and Danny's been, but I leave for Florida just about 2-3 weeks.
The boat calls.
The boat calls about 2 or 3 weeks before that banquet. And I really, really want to get down there,
Yeah, Gilligan's 3-hour tour starts before then.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Did you ever get lost in the boat?
No, I wouldn't be here if I was. I'd still be lost.
Oh, I don't mean that. Listen to you. What about in the middle of a storm?
We have been in some hellacious storms.
Really?
We've gotten caught in some really nasty downpours, thunderstorms, total whiteouts. We just did a trip back from St. Pete. Well, we went to the IndyCar road race in St. Pete, street race. And coming back, we had 10 hours of fog and less than 1/8 mile visibility for the full 10 hours.
Wow.
Not really a storm, but scary in the
bad.
sense that you can't see anything around you for 10 hours.
Yeah, you don't know what's there.
Yeah, but the thunderstorms are really scary. Never been out in huge waves. I'm not.
So you don't know if you get seasick or not?
No, I haven't been anything that's anything over maybe 3 or 4 feet. And that's about all we want.
That'd be all I'd want.
I ain't into getting sick.
That'd be all I'd want, buddy. I don't want that thing.
But we watch the weather very closely, and we don't leave we waited 9 days one time to make a trip across to the Bahamas because the seas were too rough. So you just have to wait until it gets better and then go.
Yeah, but that's cool that you don't have that the schedule that makes you go.
You don't want a schedule if you're a boater. You just can't have a schedule.
So the boat is your favorite of everything.
Mm-hmm. Excluding racing.
Well, I understand. So really, there is nothing that you've been able to experience that has equaled the adrenaline rush and the stuff like that. Is that right?
Right. As far as the racing, even flying the airplane, you get yourself in trouble once in a while. There's a huge adrenaline rush, but you have to overcome that and think, I got to get this down safely. And there's been some times where that's been real scary, and there is adrenaline involved with that.
Oh, I imagine. Yeah.
A lot of adrenaline.
Would you call that urinating in your pants?
Yeah, sort of, kind of.
That's what I'd call it. I don't know what you'd call it.
But there's nothing that meets the thrill of getting out of that race car and you're shaking so bad you can't hardly take your gloves off. That's adrenaline.
Yeah, but you do that before the race starts, and then you calm down. Am I correct? I can only speak for myself because I got in the funny car stuff. I got into some hair raising stuff a couple of times, And you get really calm while that's happening and think your way through it.
Right.
But when it's over, you're a basket
You're
case.
a basket case, exactly. And she's witnessed that several times. You know, you got there in the late model, for example, 130 miles an hour, whatever. And, you know, you're cool and calm and you're doing what you're out there to do. And then you get out of the car and you can't hardly stand up. You're shaking.
Say, is that really me?
Yeah. And that's the adrenaline. That's what it's all
yeah.
about. And I guess that's what makes us tick.
What's next?
Well, just more adventurous trips in the boat and maybe a little razor racing. Who knows?
You think you could do that?
Oh, yeah, you got to roll. With age comes a cage.
Well, okay. I actually got to do a show with a young man. His name is Walker Fowler. He is the number one GNCC four-wheeler guy in the world. Mm-hmm. And this kid is a bad mammer jammer. Mm-hmm. I mean, they go through those trees at over 100 on a four-wheeler.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, you are crazy.
Yeah.
You are nuts. You ever think you'd like to try that stuff, that off-road stuff like that?
Not.
Chris is going, no.
Not on a four-wheeler now, in a razor.
In the race. Well, see, they're starting that. And the reason I'm saying that, I got to do a show with Bill Balance, and Bill Balance was a many-time champion.
Oh, yeah, the best.
The best. He was the best. And Yamaha has just shipped him a
YZA.
A side-by-side, what do you call it?
I think they call
it.
And
he's redoing all the suspension,
mm-hmm.
and he's going to race that thing.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And so they've been sort of last, I guess, or down on the totem pole as far as the racing goes. And so he is actually redoing this bad boy that the factory can't do to make it competitive.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to watch that pretty close because I figure you'll watch it too because you'll probably, I already see it in there and it's got numbers on the door.
Mm-hmm. Wonder how that happened.
I wonder why that's on there. And Chris is looking at it and she just started staring. But why?
That's just a combination of two of the things that I loved doing.
Okay.
Cross country motorcycle racing.
Okay.
That was my favorite. As far as motorcycles go, I drag raced. I did the flat tracks a little bit. I did try to do all of it.
You've done it all.
But the cross country motorcycle racing was the best in my opinion. And then driving a stock car, of any late model stock car or Legends car, whichever one. You put the two of them together, and you've got a Razor or a Yamaha or whatever.
Yeah, I know.
You got your
side by side off road race.
Exactly. Car. 4 wheels on the ground. You got a roll cage, and you're going through the jungles. I mean, you put all that back together, and you've got the best of the
Boy,
best.
Here we go again. Chris is sitting there holding her fist up, going, "Oh, I didn't know about this." But I hope you hadn't kept his head from Myrtle just now.
Well, when she came out and saw that number on the door, she kind of looked at me kind of funny. I said, "Well, there's a chance we might have a little competition."
Actually,
down
Chris,
in Alabama.
they all look alike, and he wanted to make sure to be able to find his.
Yeah.
That was You do believe that? No, I don't think so. I tell you what, guys, everybody in the world, guys. Now, trust me, I was married a long time, and to find the love of a woman is a gift of God. Anybody? No, trust me, I know what I'm talking about. And when you have one, and you have a couple that shares their life as much as these guys, and do the things, and she lets him be crazy, but yet she's his number one cheerleader. And you live together, you love each other. I think that's the neatest thing going.
52 years next month.
And she hadn't killed you in your sleep yet.
Not yet.
And I tell you, she's had 52 years of chances.
52 years of hanging on is what she's been doing.
Yeah. Chris, is he pretty? How is he around the house? Is he pretty good around the house?
Do you really want me to answer
Yes,
that?
ma'am. I want you to tell me the truth.
He's good around the house when it becomes his idea.
Okay, when it's your idea, he's not.
Right, but so what you do is you just kind of drop hints, and then pretty soon it'll catch on and it becomes his idea, then he does it.
So it's one of those deals, honey, I'm going to fix that. It's only been 6 months. Is that it? Or
no, it's like, if that doesn't get fixed, I don't know. I'm eventually going to have to hire somebody.
Oh, that it?
Yes,
you threaten him with spending the money.
Exactly.
Huh? That's what it is. And he's thinking, "Boy, that's tires for the Razor, or that's it." No, I'll fix that.
Yeah.
Are you excited about his Razor deal? Or are you just now hearing about it? Which one is it?
Well, you have to be real. Okay. He's 70 years old this year.
Okay.
We're both 70 years old.
Okay.
You only have about that much time left.
Well, to maybe be totally active, you got a lot of time.
So, and you don't know. I mean, you don't know
That's true.
at our age
That's true.
what tomorrow will bring. You know that
I know that very well.
better than we do.
Yeah.
Okay? So, I would never, ever tell him no. I may not choose to participate, but I would never take that away from him because that's his dream. And nobody has the right to take somebody else's dream. And the reason we've been married for 52 years is you have to respect that in each other.
Of course.
You have to respect each other's dreams and each other's needs. And it's not always about me, and it's not always about him, but you have to compromise. And, again, I would never tell him he couldn't do it. I may not choose to participate, but I would never tell him he couldn't do it.
Buddy, you're a lucky man. It was worth the trip to California to find this lady, and I'm so glad you didn't hurt her on the way back, because you've done some hair raising stuff, but I'm honest when I tell you the love of a woman is a gift from God.
Yeah, she's certainly been a keeper, no doubt about that.
Well, I'm telling you, and I've known her a long time, in the keeping part, and she's not just like this on the radio, guys. She's like this every day of her life. And she's been good for this old boy, which is my buddy that I grew up with, having fun as a kid, and his dad, Mr. Skeets, hauled my fat butt everywhere to the stock car races. And he had one of the stock cars my dad sponsored.
That's right.
On the out of the restaurant that he had, and it was just fun, buddy. It was fun, and it's I'm so glad it hasn't stopped.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you for giving me a few minutes and letting me come and letting us talk a little bit. And Miss Chris, you are a sweetheart, my dear. Thank you so much for being so nice. And you didn't really want to talk on this thing, but you did good. And just sort of laid back and letting old friends get together and actually see if there really is life after the steering wheel or after the races or whatever. And there is. It just merely takes a little different form.
You just got to make it happen.
You got to make it happen. You got to realize when you get up in the morning, you're sore, you hurt.
Yep.
But you're still here. And a thing that, and they gave reference that I knew about not having much time, which I do very well. And it's sort of, I want to tell you all a little theory. I said, you live each day like these folks have done. And you live loving each other and holding on, because the guy that has plans for tonight that just happens, it's possible he could die today, and he didn't get them done. And the guy that dies this afternoon had plans for tomorrow. So live every day. Have fun. Do what you want to do. And if you're fortunate enough, like my buddy Jerry, to find a sure enough keeper and a sure enough nice lady to spend it with you, just stop and say a little prayer. It's all you need to do. We'll be right back, guys.
Quick Fuel Technology, the innovators in fuel systems, introduces the latest in high-temperature coating technology for select street and performance carburetors. QFT's new Black Diamond series features a unique satin black Teflon coating that provides award-winning good looks and lasting durability. The Black Diamond series is impact-resistant, repels all underhood chemicals, and reduces fuel temperature by 6% for improved performance. The Black Diamond series by Quick Fuel, the ultimate in form and function.
Well, guys, I tell you what, this may be one of my favorite shows. Jerry, thank you so much, sir, for being on here with us. Miss Chris, you are an angel, my dear, to number one, live with him very long, but to be on here, I want to thank you for that, and being so cool and having so much fun. And Jerry, this is your second time, and I could have 20 and not even scratch the surface of everything you've done, But I'm a fan. Let's put it that way. I'm a fan.
Thank you, Smimmy.
Guys, we never end our show without thanking the most important people in our world, next to the listeners, our sponsors. They make all of this possible. The great guys at Quick Fuel Technologies, the guys that build the absolute best carburetor on the planet. You'll see them at the racetracks. They are friendly. They're fun. They'll talk to you, and they will fix any kind of problem you have. They're the only race carburetor guys, I guess, that their carburetor never goes out of warranty. All you got to do is find them at a racetrack and hand it to them and say, hey, guys, I got trouble, and they will fix it even if they take the one off their own car to get it done. So you don't have to worry about that. But Quick Fuel Technologies, they're absolutely wonderful. Of course, the great guys at Beach Bend Park, Beach Bend Raceway, and Beach Bend Splash Lagoon, they've even got enough water for this old fat guy to get wet. And we go out there and have fun, and you can spend your time in the summer having a blast. You can do the amusement park. You can ride the roller coaster, and while you're on top, you can watch the racing going on at the racetrack. But there are 26 multi-day events this year that go on at Beach Bend, and, of course, Event Radio will be at each and every one of them. And that's just a fun spot. The great guys at Holly Performance, just get on the phone or check holly.com. And like I've said many times, if you can't find a part for your hot rod at Holly, my friend, you don't have a hot rod, because they have so many different lines. You're bound to have something or they'll have something that you can use. Last but not least, my good buddies at gearheadgazette.com. Anything you want to find out that's fun to do in the car hobby, just go on the computer, gearheadgazette.com. Trust me, you will find more fun things to do than the law allows, and everything that's going on, they got it covered, and that's sort of where Event Radio finds the place to go next. And we've had a few tell us where to go, but we don't really pay that much attention. We go to gearheadgazette.com. We appreciate more than you know you listening to our shows. It's great to have you as our listeners, but do one favor for us. If you have liked what you have heard, please tell a friend. If not, you keep that to yourself. Guys, we'll talk again.
You've been listening to Event Radio, covering local drag racing, stock car racing, motorcycles, go-karts. If it's got wheels and you can race it, you heard about it here. Event Radio is motorsports radio on steroids. Join us next time with your hosts, Spivey Williams and Terrible T Guy.